A very good evening to everyone, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, all the people who are listening. Well, today I'm going to talk about a story, and first let's talk about how this story will relate to some of our concerns. The world is changing at a very rapid pace. Actually, it has always changed. But what concerns us is that it has started changing or accelerating at a very high pace, like a rocket. Some of the changes which are taking place are good for us, for mankind, for human civilization, and we like it. Some of the changes we prefer that it would stop or it would not have happened. Some of these are our concerns regarding plants and animals disappearing from the planet. Many remote tribes are disappearing, or their rituals and customs are disappearing. And at the same time, many languages are disappearing. There are languages where there are very handy people who are speaking or can understand that language. There are anthropologists, there are academicians who are trying to preserve the world heritage. And at the same time, there are a lot of fairy tales and folklore stories which are also disappearing. And today I'm going to narrate a story which will not only entertain you, but it will also help in preserving those stories. This story was told to me by my maternal uncle. Maybe I was 8 or 10 years old at that time, but I still remember it very vividly, and it was a good story which I am going to share with you all. And the story goes that long time ago, there was a king. And you know that many stories revolve around kings and queens because in those days, those were the important people. So this king was also very powerful and a strong king. So this king had a favorite barber whose name was Babban. And you would spell Babban as Baban. One day, Babban was in service of the king and cutting his hairs, and suddenly, to his horror, he finds out that the king is growing two horns. Now, when he was looking at those horns, the king realized that Babban has also noticed it. So he told Babban that now you have found my secret, but it has to be kept as a secret, otherwise you will lose your life. So the poor guy had no choice. He goes home, but unfortunately, Babban was a gossipy guy and light of his stomach. It was very difficult for him to keep a secret. So in this process, it turned night. He was tossing and turning in his bed, and his wife was also there, but he couldn't share the secret. He decides to go out and take a walk to a nearby jungle. As he was walking, he comes across a tree which appeared very old. And suddenly, while walking, it occurred to him that maybe he can tell this secret to the tree, and in this way he will feel better and he will still be safe. So he shares the secret with the tree, felt better, goes home and sleeps, and the life kept on. However, this is not the end of the story. Now, poor Babban had no idea that this tree was a magical tree or a cursed tree. In any case, life went on going. After a few months, there was king's coronation occasion, anniversary. And it used to be celebrated every year with a lot of pomp and fair. There were a lot of events which took place surrounding that event, sports event, musical events, dramas, plays, military parades, and so on and so forth. people came to attend that anniversary from far and wide. And so it so happened that a group of musicians were also coming to the capital, and on their way to the capital, they stopped in the jungle, and they needed some wood to make some musical instrument, especially some flutes. It so happened that they chopped the same tree and cut wood out of it. In any case, they come to the capital and they started participating in different things. Everything was taking place. People were happy. There were festivities in air, and people were enjoying that anniversary and the events surrounding it. So then the musician's turn came, and they did their usual stuff, and then it was the flute man who was to play the flute. So he picked up his flutes and started his song, and then there was no voice or volume first, and then suddenly a strong noise started coming out of the flute, and it said something like that: "The king has two horns, the king has two horns. Who said that? Who said that? Babban the barber said that." Now, the secret was open to everybody. It was leaked in front of everybody, and there was a pin drop silence in the atmosphere. Babban was like lightning struck him, or his whole face went white, like there was not even a single drop of blood in him. In any case, I'll stop here for a moment and I will interject some questions that how should Babban deal with this situation, and how should king deal with the situation. And I will give you some options, like option 1, 2, 3, 4. You think about it and see what would you recommend for Babban and the king to follow the line of action or the course of action. So the first choice I am giving for Babban is to straightforward accept his fault and ask for forgiveness. The second option would be that Babban may just run away from the court and try to escape. The third option would be that he may say that actually he did make a mistake, but he didn't realize that it will turn out this way because he only shared it with a non-living thing, a tree, and it never occurred to him that it was leaked. The fourth option is that he can accuse the flute of lying or going crazy. Now these are the options which are available to Babban the barber, and now I would say these options are for the king, and you see what is the better option of those four. The first option is that king should go ahead and execute Babban for his crime. The second option is that the king should take into consideration that actually his mistake was unintentional and nobody could have predicted the outcome. He only shared it with a tree. The third option available to the king is to forgive Babban the barber with a condition. And the condition would be that he would wear a cap with two horns all his life 24/7 to remind him of the mistake which he did. The fourth option available to the king is that he should deny the whole story and say that there is no truth in it, and it is only the fake media which is creating this story. So these are different options which I will leave it up to you. I hope for parents and grandparents and for a school teacher, this will add another story for you so that you can share it with your loved ones and with your children, grandchildren. If you are interested to continue hearing such stories which are human heritage, and I will try to collect the stories from different parts of the world to bring it to you. I would request you to please subscribe my channel and put comments below what would you like to see and you would be interested in. Another aspect of this whole story is the moral of the story, that if you really want to keep a secret, don't share it with anyone, not even with the tree. Thank you.